Hello, welcome to a new episode of Geek Lunch Me. I'm your host Chris. As usual, in this episode I thought we would take a quick look at a vintage Adventures of Indiana Jones role-playing game. If you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Helps us out a great deal, gets the video seen. And if you've not already subscribed, why not hit that subscribe button? We would absolutely love to have you. This is big nostalgia for me. I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan. I'm a big fan of all sort of pulp adventure, 1930s, 1940s, all that sort of style, the Shadow, Doc Savage, all that sort of thing. And this takes me right back to my 10th birthday when I got this game in 1984 it was. So just after Temple of Doom had come out, which is probably my favourite Indiana Jones movie. I know sometimes it gets some flack, but I'm sure I've said before on the channel, for me, it's the most pure adventure. I know that technically Raiders of the Lost Ark is probably the greatest adventure movie ever made, but I just love Temple of Doom. There's something about it, and I watch it all the time. And little 10-year-old me was absolutely over the moon when he got the Adventures of Indiana Jones role-playing game for his 10th birthday. And at the time of recording this, we are just over 3 months out from Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And so my fingers are absolutely crossed that we get another rip-roaring adventure from Indiana Jones. So while we're eagerly awaiting that next movie installment, let's take a look inside the Adventures of Indiana Jones role-playing game from TSR. So here we are, as you can see, the Adventures of Indiana Jones role-playing game from the producers of the Dungeons & Dragons game, which was TSR Inc. 2 or more players, ages 10 and up. The box has seen better days. It's not looking too bad, considering this is from 1984. If we turn it over, and we've just got a bit here, just from Brazil to Bangkok, from the Ark of the Covenant to the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and his companions blaze a trail of adventure and mystery. Now you can be a part of the action too. And it just lists the Adventures of Indiana Jones game comes with these special features to bring your adventures to life. 3D figures that you cut out and stand up to show walls, doors, traps and characters, a 64-page rules booklet, an 8-page evidence file which features adventure clues, a World of Indiana Jones map, a referee screen which features tables and adventure backdrops. And there's a photo here of the contents of the box. So without further ado, let's have a look inside. So what we'll do first, I think, is we'll empty out, or these are all their sort of characters and scenery and things. We'll get those out of the way first. We'll come back to those in a minute. And what we've got here, so this is the rule book. And it says, featuring an introductory adventure, the icons of Icamanon, also how to play the game, which obviously is a really handy thing to have. Now, it did say it's only a 64-page book, and I think I have read criticisms of the game. I've just got some of the sort of checklists on the back there for doing damage. Yes, I think some of the criticisms I've read of the game at the time was that compared to D&D, it was quite basic. As I say, the rulebook's not very long, and I think basically it allows you to play as the main characters from Raiders and Temple of Doom. There was nothing to do with generating your own characters, which obviously a lot of role-playing games. That's a big part of the game. So I think it was quite limited. They did bring out some sort of expansion packs, which I think there was a Raiders and a Temple of Doom, and then other ones as well. Later, I think then like the following year, but then after that I think he basically died a death, and that was the end of it. But so going through the rule book, it says features introductory adventure, the icons of Icamanon. Now that is actually based as well, I think, on one of the Marvel comic books that were coming out at the time. I think a lot of the supplemental materials and the additional expansions that come out were sort of taken stories straight from those comic books, which is quite a good idea. But yeah, it's got an introduction sort of telling you how to play the game. It's quite a good booklet, because then it will give you episode 1, it's practicing, and it will show you how to do the first part of the adventure, the Icons of Icamanon, and it will sort of run you then through the combat, a bit like a tutorial these days on most video games, where you'll start playing the game. Whereas in the old days you used to have a big rules booklet that would come with the game. Now they sort of ease you into it and introduce you to the various different things like combat, etc. as you go along, which actually this sort of does quite a good job of. But it shows it's a basic sort of role-playing mechanic of making checks against various different attributes that you've got. As I say, this goes through all. Then see episode 2, attacking Crocambo, which then introduces movement, moving on foot, moving in vehicles, and things like that. Cronies and contacts. We've got episode 4, dealing in the dark. And basically, it's a basic rule book showing you everything you need to know. Dangerous events there, obviously going to take place a lot in the world of Indiana Jones. Poisons, supernatural events, irrational fears. Obviously, Indy, snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? And then adventure goals and just things like that. And then I think in the back you've got some. These are the final parts of the game. And there's in the end how to cut out and assemble the 3D figures, and then a sort of flow chart, which is, I think it's for like randomly generating hazards if you've got a chase scene going on, which obviously chase is again a big part of the Indiana Jones world. If you don't want to plot out everything on a map, you can use this sort of random sort of hazard generator, I think, which is quite a good idea. But yeah, that's the rule book there. You then get, I suppose this is like the sort of dungeon master screen that you would have, in D&D, and you've got sort of the jungle scene, also like a sort of Cairo street scene, and inside a temple. I think these are particularly scenes from the Icons of Icamanon game, but obviously you could be used for anything. And then on the back, obviously you've got your different tables and charts and things to use as basically like a dungeon master, I suppose an adventure master you might call it, something like that. So that comes as well. Then you've got this, which is obviously used for laying out the scenery and having your characters in all sort of action sequences, and a handy map of the world as it was back in the 1930s, showing some of the major air routes that existed at the time, which obviously you can use when planning your adventures. The sort of evidence dossier thing, I think they call it, is it's got some maps, and then you can sort of you can put your figures on here and have combat. Flophouse map, say these are mostly related to the Icons of Icamanon. You could use them in other games. And then obviously you've got your characters, Marion, Salah, Wuhan, the guy that gets shot at the beginning of Temple of Doom, Jock Lindsay, who's the pilot that picks up Indy at the beginning of Raiders. Non-player characters, you can actually sort of make up your own ones there. Some stationery from the desk of Marcus Brody, another map of a sleazy dive, map of the Icamanon village, Short Round and Willie Scott, character sheets, and then Indy himself. And you've got a telegraph and a map, which I think it says you can photocopy, and use in your own adventures. Then that is just a leaflet about the Role-Playing Game Association. And then these things here, there's some sort of, it's like a white crayon that came with the game, I think, for marking on things. You can see at some point, probably me as a kid, I snapped it in half and sellotaped it back together. But these are all the sort of cardboard, you've got like walls and doors, things like that, corners for marking out corners of rooms. There are some pillars as well, and then obviously you've got your characters. There's Wuhan and Marion. Short Round, who, as I'm recording, fresh off of his Oscar win, Ki Kwan, for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Congratulations to him. Good to see him back in the spotlight. We got there Willie Scott, some natives, and a whole bunch of goons. I'm quite surprised that a lot of these are sort of still stuck together. You know, that's sort of 1984 Pritt stick there, so which usually falls off after a few bumps. So yeah, quite shocked that say a lot of these and these pillars and things are all actually still stuck together. So that is just a quick look at the TSR Adventures of Indiana Jones role-playing game from 1984. Did you ever play the game? Are you looking forward to the new Indiana Jones movie? Hopefully we'll be getting some more games. There's I know there's obviously a video game that was trailered quite a while ago, which must be due to get some more information on soon. I would imagine they'd release that to sort of coincide with the film and make the most of the publicity. So hopefully we'll be getting some more stuff soon. Till then, hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, eat geek and be merry.